Hey, what's up? Zach D Productions here, and I'm here for an album review for you guys. This is a throwback review, so for this review, I'll be reviewing the debut album from Korn, which is just simply titled Korn, the self-titled debut. As you can see, I have it on CD right here. There's the side, the back, and then you got the disc here. And to be perfectly honest, this is maybe my favorite album from Korn. My favorite Korn album is kind of a toss-up between this album, Follow the Leader, and Issues. I mean, if you had to make me choose my top 3 albums from Korn, those would probably be my top 3. Although it's really hard leaving out certain albums in their discography because they have other great albums too, such as Untouchables and Life is Peachy. I really do dig those albums too. I just think that the early run of Korn in general has just been very strong, very flawless. Some of the best music ever in nu metal, I would say. And I know that Korn is also one of the pioneers of nu metal. And is Korn the first nu metal band? I know that that's a debate with some. I know it's also a debate that this was the first nu metal album. I mean, if you were to tell me that it was, I probably wouldn't argue with that. Korn is one of the pioneers after all, and this album is very impactful. I mean, this album definitely left an impact and an influence on other bands in metal, and not just with nu metal, but with other bands and other genres of metal as well, like in metalcore. I know that a lot of metalcore was influenced by Korn, so there's that. So when it comes to nu metal, Korn is definitely a must. They're a must check out, I would say. And I actually did get to meet Brian Head Welch earlier this year. For those who don't know, he was speaking at some event, and I got to meet with him afterwards, and I even got a picture with him, and he seemed like a really cool guy. So yeah, there is that. I actually got to meet Brian Head Welch earlier this year, which was really cool. So I really do like everything this album is going for, as far as, the tone and just the music itself and the musicianship, the vocals, everything. I mean, I would say Korn is an acquired taste. They're not really the easiest band to get into, I don't think, which is kind of weird because they're kind of seen as a gateway band for a lot of people. Like, when a lot of people list their first metal bands, Korn is usually at least in the top 5 of that list of the first metal bands that they get into. But for me, I actually didn't get into Korn till much later. Not till, I think, last year, 2022. I remember it was around when Requiem came out. That's when I got into them. But like I say with anything else, better late than never. But all in all, this is a great album, the self-titled debut from Korn. It's just heavy, raw, and again, I think that the musicians, the instruments, they all do well here. Everything from that to Jonathan Davis's vocal delivery, whether he's doing his more melodic vocals or his harsh vocals, everything is well done here, I think. And again, it's just raw and heavy, and if that's how you like your nu metal, you'll probably like this if you haven't listened to it already for some reason. And personally, I would take this over anything over Slipknot. I thought I'd just point that out. I mean, I don't care if that's unpopular for me to say because, well, Slipknot is a band that did kind of drop off for me, to be honest. So yeah, but Korn I do like more than Slipknot, so that's just how I feel, though. If you like one over the other, that's fine. But this album has a lot of great tracks on it, and I think one of the reasons why I consider this to be my favorite or one of my favorites from Korn is this does have some of my favorite Korn tracks, such as Blind and Helmet in the Bush. These are great, some of the highlights for me personally, but you do have other great tracks on here like Clown and Chutes and Ladders, Need To, Fake, and Lies. These are also solid songs. And then you, of course, have the closing track, Daddy, which is a very dark song. I know it's not easy to listen to, but all in all, I do think there's a lot to like with this album. It definitely has a very dark tone and sound to it. It's just all in all great. I mean, from start to finish, you can't go wrong with it. And it's a landmark album, you know, not just with nu metal, but I would say metal in general because of the influence that it had on so many bands. So again, this is a must check out. It's a must check out from Korn, and it's easily one of their best. And I would say, even if you're someone who doesn't put this up there as Korn's best material, I'm sure you could at least say that if it's not in your top 3, then it's definitely in your top 5. I just think that this is easily one of their best albums. There's no other way around it, in my personal opinion. So, all in all, it's just great. So, Korn's debut, great album. If I were to give it a score, I'd have to give it either a 9 or a 9.5 out of 10. I do think that the album is that strong. So, there you have it. Korn's debut album, excellent album. Definitely check it out, especially if you claim to love nu metal. This is a must check out for sure. So let me know what you think of Korn's self-titled debut. Have you listened to this album, and what do you think of it? Where would you place this album as well in terms of your ranking for the Korn albums? Feel free to let me know that as well. So on that note, thanks for watching and have a good one.